Good evening, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you're feeling this content, smash this like button. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce today's guest. He actually just had a great weekend, won both his super matches, including the main
Yeah,
event at the Grand Slam arm wrestling event in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'd like to welcome Lachlan Adair.
thank you very much, sir. Man, thanks for this weekend. Wouldn't have been possible without you. Had a sick time and given me that springboard to start climbing that ladder. So, hell
Yeah,
yeah.
you got in on Tuesday into California. You came in, wanted to get in a week early just to kind of get used to the timing and all that and to get over the jet lag and come in a little more fresh than you did when you went against Todzilla. But
Yeah, that's
of
right.
course, things had to start off with a little twist to it, and of course, the airline lost your luggage and got stuck in Australia. So let's just tell us a little about that, bro.
Man, so because flights aren't super popular to the States right now, where I'm from, we had to fly to a more major city to fill the plane out. Now, my flight was delayed, the domestic, like interstate flight, that got delayed. So my bag didn't make it from that point. And then we're in Petaluma, and just every day we didn't know where it was. I don't know what was going on with it. Finally got it in at Tulsa Airport at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night before a day before the match. So yeah, and that was
Well, that's
yeah.
nice way to make things a little tricky and to add a little stress onto everything. Always great.
Yeah. But I expect these things now. It's like it's already in the mind that there's going to be stuff that's gone wrong, so it's much easier to manage.
So we get in on Tuesday. We had a nice couple of days. Hit the gym. I gave him a nice tour around Petaluma, which we all
Yeah,
know
man.
that's the birthplace of arm wrestling. Got to show him where all the world wrestling events went down. Went
Yeah,
over to
man.
the famous bar, the Hideaway, where they actually have the original trophy from back in the 60s and 70s. And, you got people on that trophy such as Jim Dolcini, Cleve Dean, John Brzenk, the who's who of the legends of arm wrestling. So we got to show Lachlan all the Petaluma great arm wrestling history.
Yeah,
And
man.
then on Thursday, we made our way over to Tulsa. It was me, Lightning Luke Kent, and Lachlan Adair.
Yeah.
So when you got into Tulsa and all that, I'm assuming that was your first time in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's the first time in Oklahoma. Yeah.
So what
Yeah,
was
man.
that whole experience like and all that?
It was cool. You set us out in some pretty beautiful Airbnbs, so that made life a lot easier. I met Don Underwood. Man, he's so different in real life. He's such a gentleman. I like that man. I got a lot of respect for Don. It was cool hanging out with Luke as per usual. We seemed to get pretty lucky hanging out with each other. Well, 2 out of 3 times I've been in the States, so it's been cool. But Oklahoma is, it's a small town, but it was nice, man, in Tulsa. It was really nice. So the more and more I get to experience American culture, the more I start to understand it and like it. So yeah, no, it was cool.
Oh yeah,
What do
so
you
I just
plan?
want to go through. We started off on Friday night. We had the pre-game event going down, and that started off. We had 4 super matches set up for that, and had a couple of good ones. We had BJ Fakakis going against Matt Sartori,
Yeah,
which was end up a great war. BJ got the win on that. Also had great to have Uncle John in the house, which that
yeah,
was the
man.
first time getting to hang out with Uncle John in person, and he's a
Yeah.
really cool guy, bro. Really, really big fan of Uncle John.
Yeah, he's super cool. I like him.
So then moving on the day of the event, bro, this is where I want to kind of really dive into. And so your eyes open up Saturday morning. What's going through your head? Are we feeling confident? Are we feeling nervous? What's going through?
Confident and nervous. I find that if I'm not nervous, something's wrong. It's like I'm tired or I'm too calm. Like something's not firing if I'm not nervous. Yeah. So I I get confident when I get nervous. I'm like, all right, it's all the process is starting to kick over. So um, yeah, look, I woke up a few times through the night with the heart going, so I had to calm myself down. I was just ready to go. I get like before comp, I love competing, but I can't wait to get over and done with. I just want to compete and just get the result and and carry on, you know. So Saturday morning is just keep myself as calm as I possibly can. No protein on that day, just pure carbs, heaps of fluids. I write down all my kind of sports psychology stuff that gets my mind in the right place, which is a process that I start doing a couple of weeks out. But those last couple of days, I really ramp it up. And the day of, it's like a repetitive thing. I write things, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row, and just get it in my head. And it's all part of the mental preparedness. The physical preparedness is already done. I just got to make sure I'm hydrated and full of carbs. So.
Do you mind if I go over what you told me about the thing that you write down and all before your match? Do you mind if I bring that up?
Yeah, for sure.
So something that Lachlan was just kind of giving me insight on his process of getting ready mentally, and I just thought this was genius. You know, I never even thought of doing something like this, but every day, starting a few weeks before, he kind of writes down what he expects to happen that day of the event, you know, and just kind of goes through everything in his mind, plays it all out. And, I think that's just genius. I mean, you're kind of training your mind to subconsciously to do what you wanted to do that day and just keep repeating it over and over. So, where did you learn that? And is that a big part of your program now when you getting ready for a super match?
Yeah, there's a lot of mental preparedness things that go into part of my program. And look, this is something that my wife and a really good friend Bella, he's been in the jiu-jitsu game for a long time, and they both agreed that I need to figure out a way to take my mind to the next level, because physically, like, there's, you know, I'm strong as. It was just an execution thing, right? So there's 2 fronts. I do a lot of shadow drilling, and that is, you know, more of that just practice of the move that I'm going to do, right? And that'll be with bugger all weight, and I'm going through every little detail of what I want to do as a plan for the match that I've got coming up. So I do my research on my opponent, and then all of, like, that gets formulated, and I put it into the written words. So that comes off the back of a lot of sports psychology, and I just, since I started doing that, I started winning everything. So there is a couple of techniques to it. You know, it's handwriting. Typing it doesn't seem to do the job. So this is stuff we can look up on YouTube and stuff like that. It's you just got to know where to look. But that's a big part for me. But you've got to be careful not to lie to yourself, because your mind will know that you're telling yourself bullshit, right? So you've got to use certain words, just to kind of put it in that frame where I know I'm going to have to push as hard as I can. So that might be something that I write down. So I might put something in there about, you know, using every muscle in my body to pull that guy over. So it's preparing my mind for a lot of strain. If you go in and go, it's going to be easy, then you're going to get messed up, right? So you've got to go into it thinking, I've got to put everything behind every single pull, and that becomes one of the key things back in your frame, and having that mental preparation to put your frame behind your arm, because it can be scary sometimes. So yeah, but it's all part of that, trying to get my head into that winner's mindset, if you will. So yeah, that's a big part.
Got to say, Lachlan, after getting to hang out with you a couple of times, brother, the one thing that sticks out to me is your knowledge, brother, and you're a very smart arm wrestler. It's not just the physical. We obviously could tell you're putting in the work. You're jacked as all hell. So we know that part. But getting to know you really stand out as far as a very smart, intellectual arm wrestler, and I really believe that's a big part of your game, and it's what's bringing a lot of this success. So definitely keep it up, brother. It's inspiring.
Thank you. But man, that workout we did, it's been a long time since I've hit any of that bodybuilding stuff, and Right, you're a genius. The stuff we were hitting there, I was like, I haven't felt that in a while. So that's going to give me some cool little things to bring back, because I think, especially that's, all that stuff that we did with our upper back, that's only going to help with the stability in my shoulder, and that press move is just going to get nasty now. So
Hell yeah. So what Lachlan's talking about, we just went through a beast mode session. We hit over
yeah.
at the gym. We were there for the last 2 hours, just totally going balls to the wall, which is pretty impressive, bro. You're 2 days after your big event and all, and I honestly didn't think you'd be able to lift 5 pounds today. And you were keeping up, bro, which is definitely saying a lot. And
Oh, I'm sore, but
well,
no,
it was definitely
fun.
impressive to see seeing you train in the gym, and yeah, bro, it's you definitely are a fucking beast. So I want to catch up, bro. So we're now the day of the event, and
Mhm.
you're going on your first match. You walking up to the table, and you're going against Pavlo, left hand. What's going through your head at that moment?
It's very repetitive. I go over the things that I've written down in my head that I remember. And that's something I'll note later that really stuck in my head, so I can make sure that stays in there. Yeah. He was looking, he wasn't as big as I thought he was going to be in my mind, but I didn't want to give myself any false confidence in that. Yeah. So it was just very repetitive. But yeah, he's a super nice guy, but I go through my process, and it's that turning that switch where, I don't know if you saw me, I kind of, even in the heat, I got my hoodie on, I'm all getting hot, getting sweaty, and I kind of just, pace around, and I get things right. I knew it was going to be a hard match, and yeah, come to the match, first round. Yeah, that was hard. That first round was really hard.
What
But
was
the round,
your initial thoughts when you first gripped his hand?
solid, solid hand. And load up massively in the setup. So that's not something I trained for specifically, to be honest. Still was able to get the job done, but that heavily loaded setups really caps a lot of speed for me. So it really becomes not a slow pull, but it almost, you're already loaded up, so it's just kind of easing in the rest of the power. So yeah, it does sap some speed off me, which is why I think he was getting the jump on the go, because he's used to that kind of pulling, where I'm traditionally quite loose on the setup and just whack that first. I use that that kind of snapping everything on to get momentum. So that was different. Blew my left hand out massively. By the time I got to the third round, man, I couldn't close my hand.
Wow. When did you
Yeah,
know you had this? When were you confident? Like, all right, I got this. I felt what he had. I know I could contain him. I know I could get the win.
as soon as I got back inside my shoulder line. So as soon as I got off my
What round
biceps.
was that?
So it was the first round, that first hit. And when I caught that hit and then brought it back in here, I thought, okay, I've got him now. Like, I can work. There's no way that he's going to pull out of that spot once I had it in. So the press didn't work a couple of times, but the first round you saw me, I had tried to press a few times and it just got stopped. So I changed the angle and I turned my body around a little bit just to get out in his hand in that hook, into that drag style hook. And I just felt something in his wrist give, and then I dove back in and finished in that press. So just needed a little bit more room and stretch him out, and was able to get it done. But after that, I was pretty confident that whatever he had for me, I was going to be able to get through it.
I gotta say, bro, I was really, really in shock after that first round, because after seeing that first hit from Pavlo, I was like, oh my God, there's no way that you could bring it back. And I thought it was going to be a bad day for you. And, he got within probably about an inch and a half of pinning you. And then I just seen you, like you said, you just started pulling them in and reeling them in. And then once I got, like you said, you got it in your shoulder line. And then that was it, bro. It was kind of like you were like bleeding them out then, and
Yeah.
I guess that's when you were going for the press. What was he doing at first that was stopping you from press? Was he blocking you, or?
Like, I think it was to do with the setup. when I have a loose setup, I can really get that tricep in very, very quick. It's just it slows down in those loaded setups that I wasn't quite used to. So to me, it all felt like kind of a slow pull, to be honest. But yeah, just that first hit, that was just get through that, and I knew I had him.
Okay, so now the match is over and all, and now we could actually hear what you thought beforehand. I want to know, what was your honest assessment of your chances of winning going into this match with Pavlo?
The preparation for my left was nowhere near my right. I hadn't really trained my left arm at all the last kind of 2.5 years, except for bench press and, pull-ups and stuff like that, where you've got to use two arms. I am naturally left-handed anyway, so it's obviously going to, still be there. Needs a whole lot less attention than my right. My right being the stronger arm, but I was kind of surprised, to be honest, that rounds 2 and 3 were, I'm going to say they were easy, but I definitely redlined in that first surge in the first round, and then the second and third rounds just got easier. And I was surprised that I was actually able to do it, to be honest. So that was that moment of, oh, cool. And just, yeah, where to from now? That's the question.
Well, at that moment, brother, I think the world realized that Lachlan Adair's left is just as serious as the right. We all going into this, when I'm looking around all the groups. But I got to say, the Australians all believed in you from the beginning, but I'd say the rest of the world had you counted out. They weren't even giving you a shot. They didn't think you'd win one round.
Yeah.
So when you pulled this one off, I kind of was in shock myself. I got to say, I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know where that left was. But now after seeing that, now I'm very confident in that left hand, and it is definitely world level. We know Pavlo is ranked number 1 in the United States in his weight class on Arm Fighter. So this is a huge win.